everyone! Today is day 4 of our 30 Days of Self-Care Challenge, and today's tip is inspired by the weather outside. So if you live in New England or you follow the news or the weather at all, you'll know that we are currently in the middle of a snowstorm. It's winding down, thank the gods, but it's April 4th and we are currently covered in snow. So what I wanted to do for dinner tonight was make some warm, nourishing comfort foods, because that's one of my favorite things to do in the wintertime when I'm stuck inside and it's cold and it's dark and there isn't really anything else to do but curl up with a blanket and a cup of coffee and a good book and some good food. So today's tip number 4, is to make yourself a nourishing meal. It is incredible. It has this amazing power to heal us, whether we're intentionally putting combinations together for a purpose or just eating food that is good and whole and local. And my favorite nourishing, healing foods to make is what my husband affectionately refers to as my miracle soup. Although it's not a miracle, I promise, because I'm going to tell you guys right now how I do it. So I start by buying a chicken from the store, or a turkey, or whatever animal bones I happen to have lying around from food. And I boil them down to make a bone broth. And I make it myself, so I know exactly what's going into it, what herbs, what spices, what vegetables, and I can control how dense and how rich I want it. And I take that broth and I add to it all sorts of yummy things, carrots and celery and potatoes and other really good root vegetables, tomatoes to make it a little bit lighter, broccoli, mushrooms, whatever I'm really feeling that my body is craving at that moment. Sometimes I'll add chicken or turkey to it, or bacon. Sometimes I'll just leave the vitamins and minerals from the meat coming from the stock. But I make it different every single time. But there are a few things that I always add to it. I add it to the broth when I'm making the broth, and I add it to the soup afterwards when I'm making it. I add garlic. Garlic is nature's antibiotic. It kills everything, and it's super yummy, and you can never have enough garlic in any food that you make, personally, is my opinion. So I always put garlic. I put ginger. Ginger is also a really good warming, healing root herb. So I tend to put that in a lot of my foods. I'll just actually chop up big chunks of ginger, I'll skin them, and I'll throw them right in the pot. I don't like the taste of ginger personally, I like the flavor of it. So if I bite into it, I'm not a fan. But if I'm cooking with it, I like it. And if I'm cooking with it, I'm getting the healing properties from it. So I'll put it in big chunks so I can pick them out of my soup as I'm eating. I use basil and oregano and thyme. Cayenne pepper is fantastic because it really gets your blood pumping. It's a warming herb, and it's going to really work for pain relief and antibiotic and killing all those nasty bugs that live inside of you that are making you sick. A little bit of salt and pepper. I'm a big fan of salt. I try and limit how much I eat for health reasons, but I'm also a big proponent on you shouldn't cut salt out of your diet completely. Salt is a chemical compound that has a specific purpose within our body, and while we shouldn't have too much salt, we also can't survive with none at all. So I'll add a little bit of salt to whatever I'm cooking depending on the natural salt content from the foods that I'm making already. So I make this soup, I put it all together, and I warm it up for days at a time, and it's really great. It helps to kill whatever's going on inside of me within a couple days, which is a really great side effect, but it's just a really warm, comforting, nourishing soup that I make for myself when I want some kind of comfort food. A lot of times I'll make like a BLT or a cucumber sandwich to go with it, or I'll make some homemade bread to dunk in it. Just foods that make me feel full and warm and happy and comfy. And that's really a great form of self-care, because one, you're using foods to heal your body and to replenish vitamins and minerals that you're losing throughout the day. And two, you're satisfying a craving for different foods, but you're satisfying it with good food. So when you're making these nourishing meals for yourself as your form of self-care, you want to make sure that you're using whole food ingredients, not things out of aluminum cans. You know, stay away from the pre-packaged, over-processed, freeze-dried foods. You want stuff that is yummy and whole and fresh if possible, and local if possible. So that's my tip for today. It's a really quick one. I gotta go. I hear my daughter climbing up the stairs, coming to look for me right now. But I'll be back tomorrow with another tip. I hope if you live in New England, you're surviving the snow, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.